Cheers. Um, I just want to say a few things about the current situation. Uh, it's been a busy news hour. Um, so actually, there's a number of things I could talk about, but I'll stick to the issue at hand. Just to say though that in the last few hours, Rex Tillerson has quit. He seems to be the latest profile figure from the Trump administration to quit. In fact, the most profile figure, I would say, most high-profile figure to quit since Trump took office. Mike Pompeo will probably become the next Secretary of State. So I imagine that will be a big news story. But of course, here in the UK, the big news item is the spy situation, the spy poisoning situation. Um, there's been a deadline given to the Russian ambassador and to Moscow to midnight tonight. Now, the impression that Russia has put out is they don't care. And to be honest, they probably don't. I'm under no illusions here. Russia is a very powerful country, and in some ways, it is a more powerful country than the UK. They've a larger military, they've more nuclear warheads. It's much bigger, obviously, by area, bigger population. So in some ways, it's a more powerful country. Economically, we're bigger. In terms of human development index, we are higher. So you it depends what way you look at things. Both the UK and Russia are members of the UN Security Council. It seems to me that what's happening here is a sort of mini Cold War going on between Russia and the UK. I mean, obviously, there's been tensions with Russia for a very long time, with the West generally, over a range of issues, over Ukraine, over Syria, over a range of issues. But this particular situation is particularly between Russia and the UK. So there's just a few things I want to say. Firstly, I hope this time we really do match words with action. I think following the Litvinenko case, we spoke tough, but we didn't really act on it sufficiently. This time, I think we have to get serious. Now, what does that mean? Well, we need to block RT. Russia today, as I've said in previous videos, I don't need to go through it all again, but Russia today is a weapon. It's a propaganda outlet of a hostile foreign state. That goes without question. Russia today never has a positive thing to say about the West at all. At all. If you can't see that, you're not paying attention. RT was set up by Russian ultranationalists with the agenda solely to discredit the West. It's not simply an alternative viewpoint, it is a mouthpiece of the Kremlin. Of course, they will retaliate. If we block RT, and I hope Ofcom makes that decision, then yes, British journalists will probably be expelled from Russia, and the BBC will not be allowed to report in Russia, nor will other British news networks. So be it. That's what we've come to. Russia is one country among many. Um, it's unfortunate it's got to this, but the ball is in Russia's court. It's Russia that chose to endanger the security of the United Kingdom. I mean, let's be clear here. This is not just an attack on Sergei Skripal and his daughter and the policeman. Potentially, this is a very dangerous substance. Very little is known about it, but by all accounts, it is particularly dangerous. Um, and there's a real risk that this has infected a lot of people. I'm not going to scaremonger. I'm not going to say that this is some sort of pandemic, but the fact that another state has felt that it is perfectly acceptable to attempt to assassinate someone on our shores. I mean, I can't think of a precedent. I can't think of a situation where we have taken out a British dissident or a British spy within Russia. Maybe we have. I'm sure during the Cold War years that happened. But what this has done is endangered everyone within the city of Salisbury, potentially. That's no small thing. This is state terrorism. So yeah, I think we need to block RT for a start to show that we are serious. Yes, there will be retaliation. The BBC will be blocked from Russia. So be it. So be it. I think we need to give our journalists advance notice. Prepare for this. You're probably going to be expelled from Russia. Pack your things. Be prepared. Um, Russia has shown profound arrogance. Lavrov has basically, indicated that Russia does not care. What they're basically saying is we're powerful, we can do what we want. That's about the height of it. Putin is a pathological liar, and he was inspecting, I believe, some sort of agricultural facility. Can't remember exactly what it was, but he's saying, "Oh, you get to the bottom of this. We have, Vladimir. We have." It's obvious that your hands are all over it because even if he didn't directly order this, at best, it shows that Putin has lost control within Russia, which of course would damage his credibility leading up to the election. Now, people say, why would Putin do this leading up to the election? Well, the point is, this is not a free and fair election anyway. So it's not like Putin's got anything to lose. It's stacked up in his favor anyway. So it doesn't really matter if Putin looks bad to Russian citizens because the election is stacked in his favor. Um, and Russian state media is never ever going to criticize Putin. So I don't think it makes a difference. If anything, it's a convenient distraction from domestic issues. Um, but I want to close this video by making a very blunt point to those Britons who are right now actually trying to make excuses for Russia. I mean, they're getting into conspiracy theories and saying, oh, we've no evidence for it. They're saying things like the Porton Down facility stockpile chemical weapons. We stopped stockpiling chemical weapons back in the 60s or the 50s. It's a military facility that happens to have the resources to investigate what this chemical was. But I find it sickening, quite frankly. There are people who are playing the narrative of Moscow right now when Russia has shown what it's capable of. As far as I'm concerned, speaking bluntly, they're Putin's useful idiots. Useful idiots because they pander to the RT narrative, and RT absolutely loves Westerners that speak out against the West, right? Um, and they're idiots because they're blindly believing what the Russian narrative is, which is, oh, we're innocent. The British are just making this up to make Russia look bad. I mean, it's infuriating to see people out there actually pandering to Moscow's line. One thing that can be said is Britain is far more tolerant of dissent than Russia is. As far as I'm concerned, people who are parroting Putin's narrative are traitors. But we're not going to assassinate them. We're not going to take them out. We're not going to jail them. That's the fundamental difference. We're democracy. And all I will say is I've got very little respect for such people. They think that they're being open minded and enlightened, but really they're just pandering to Moscow's line. Now, this was extended to Parliament. Jeremy Corbyn was roundly booed in the Commons and criticised by his own party for pointing out that the Tory party has taken donations from Russian billionaires. Well, I actually believe that he may have a valid point. I don't think it's entirely inconsequential, but there is something to be said of a time and a place. We need to be showing a united front at the moment. Also, for Corbyn to be talking about seeking common ground and trying to reach out to Moscow, it's appeasement. You know, this is a man who has appeared several times on Russia Today. Even John McDonnell has seen the error of his ways and said that British MPs shouldn't be appearing on RT. Well, Labour MPs shouldn't be. I hope that Theresa May puts her foot down and forbids Tory MPs to appear on this mouthpiece because I mean, what does that achieve? Even if they think they're being independent and they're speaking with their own opinions, what they're doing by appearing on RT is legitimizing it. I sincerely hope that within the next 3 hours, Ofcom gets serious and revokes its license for RT within this country. They'll probably still be able to broadcast on YouTube, but why should we tolerate the mouthpiece of a hostile foreign state? RT, as far as I'm concerned, is a weapon. I mean, its agenda is to delegitimize the West. Its agenda is to provide instability. That's why it supports Scottish independence. That's why it supports Catalan independence. Think about it. I mean, RT was set up by Russia and ultranationalists. It's not just an alternative viewpoint. I'll be quite honest, I hate RT. I hate what it stands for because it is a threat to my country. Say what you will about that, but that's how I feel about it. Um, so the clock is ticking. I'm sure Putin isn't worried. The man's a demagogue. He's one of the most powerful people in the world. You know, I'm under no illusions. Russia is a powerful country, but it's not all powerful. And we may no longer be a superpower, but we are not a small country, geopolitically speaking. We're not. And we can stand up to Russia, and we will. And to Britons who will not back the government, I say it's fine to be against a Conservative Party, but all you're doing right now is pandering to Putin, even if you think that you're not. You're helping Moscow by doing this. You know, I'm not saying you have to get out the flag and sing Rule Britannia, but for goodness sake, don't pander to a hostile foreign state that means us ill harm. Just, it's just common sense. And as far as I'm concerned, Corbyn taking the line that he has, saying that we need to reach out to Russia instead of unequivocally condemning it, apologising for appearing on RT and vowing that he will never appear there again, he is showing why he is not fit for number 10. It's a damn disgrace. I mean, we need to get tough. And we need to start calling out those people who are stabbing their own country in the back. They think that they're being open minded and enlightened by believing everything RT tells them. Look, you can be against the Conservative Party, you could be against the BBC, fine. I've no issue with that. But what I find sickening is people who are pandering to Russia today and pandering to the Putin narrative. If you think Russia is so great, if you think Russia is so morally righteous and we are so terrible, why don't you go there? That's a serious challenge. Why don't you go there? Because I'm sick and tired of people who do nothing but run their own country down. If there's one thing I admire about Russia, it's they do actually have a sense of patriotism. I sometimes wonder how strong is our patriotism. And I hope I'm not sounding like an ultra nationalist. To be clear, I don't hate the Russian people. I don't hate Russian culture. I'm not going to go out and vandalize Russian businesses. But we need to get tough. Putin is laughing at us right now, and we need to take this very seriously. I believe after the Litvinenko case, we weren't strong enough. Now we need to show that we're not messing around. Let's block RT. Let's get serious, and let's really. I was going to say let's condemn those who back Russia. Well, yes, let's condemn them, but the whole point of a democracy is freedom of expression. All I would say to those people is you're playing Putin's game. Shame on you. Now is the time to act strong. The United Kingdom is not a weak country. Now is the time to show it.